I've wrestled with this dilemma, a delicate predicament demanding a perfect response. Before I unveil the heart of the issue, allow me to offer essential background. Our family, comprised of 4 vibrant children aged 16, 14, and 13, lives comfortably. We are blessed with financial stability, enabling us to plan an eagerly anticipated week-long family trip to Disney this coming June, where dreams take flight and memories are forged. Then there is the family of our son's girlfriend, whose world is culturally distinct from ours. They reside in a very small house, bustling with immediate and extended family members, their lives intertwined. This home, I must admit with a pang of unease, is situated in an area bluntly described, not by our words, but by a police officer, as a bad part of town. The gravity of that label lingers, hinting at challenges we can scarcely comprehend, difficulties that weigh heavily on my mind. Despite these stark differences, we cherish her deeply. She is a truly wonderful young woman, intelligent, a remarkably positive influence on our son, consistently kind, and effortlessly fun to be around. She carries herself with an ease that belies her circumstances, a quiet grace suggesting a resilient spirit beyond her years, a depth of character that continues to unfold before us. This is where our heart truly lies, and where the complications truly begin with herself, and with others, my concern grew. Our 16-year-old son was adamantly against this trip alone. He deemed himself too old, declared Disney for little kids, and dreaded time without friends. My husband and I extended a special invitation to his girlfriend with all expenses paid. If she came, we planned 2 hotel rooms, a boy room and a girl room ensuring privacy. We desperately wanted her along, and our son, too. She knew about the plan and glowed with excitement. Disney was a new dream. Yet she felt apprehensive about asking her parents. This was a hurdle, as we had never met them. Logistical challenges, mainly our distance and their demanding jobs, meant the opportunity simply hadn't arisen. These 2 teens have been talking for a year, their bond solidifying into hanging out for 8 months. Our son spends countless hours at our house with her family. They know him well and genuinely like him. She, too, has spent considerable time with us. We've taken her to numerous out-of-town games to watch our son play, even out of state, fostering a deep connection. Now, the parental consent was the only remaining obstacle to this hopeful journey, a test of trust we eagerly anticipated. The rules were explicit: never an overnight stay. As our eldest, he was navigating the labyrinth of curfews, a challenge for any parent. Lacking a full license, his rides solely relied on us or trusted friends. A month ago, a seemingly quiet evening shattered. My son was at his girlfriend's house. Our texts, exchanged around 10:15 p.m., were routine. The 11 p.m. curfew was a firm boundary, one he'd solemnly promised to honor, to respect. I offered a ride home. He casually dismissed it, claiming he was set. But 11 p.m. passed, then 11:20, an ominous silence. No call, no text, from him or from her. My heart began to pound with rising panic and fear. Frantic, I tried them both repeatedly. No answer. A chilling dread seized me, tightening its grip. Only one path remained, a desperate one. I had to retrieve my son myself. The drive was an agony of worry and unanswered questions. By 12:30 a.m., the grim truth emerged with stark clarity. Opening their door at 12:45 a.m. was now highly improbable. This wasn't unprecedented behavior, a bitter memory resurfacing from the past. Twice before, picking him up in broad daylight, he'd utterly ignored my arrival. Even knowing I waited patiently, my persistent knocks had met infuriating, deliberate silence. My options dwindled to a singular, desperate act. My voice trembling, I enlisted the aid of the local police. I desperately needed their assistance to get him. Calling the police was a colossal decision, unsettling. I was honestly unsure I could retrieve my son myself. The officer suggested knocking first. I did. I saw movement inside through a window, but no one answered. Silence and then mounting fear. The policeman pounded on the door, his voice booming with clear authority, extracting my son from their house. My son and his girlfriend, it became apparent, had merely fallen asleep watching a movie. I had no other way to contact anyone inside. The next day, a storm of upset broke. My son was incandescent with anger. Far worse, her parents believed I was racist, that this prejudice alone drove my police involvement. This accusation, baseless and cruel, pierced me. I quickly secured the mother's email, desperately trying to explain my actions. Yet their resentment persists. Her father, especially, remains unconvinced. I understand his protectiveness, but our family, I assure you, is definitively not racist. Now, a crucial task awaits. We must meet her parents. My son's girlfriend sees this as pivotal, the key to gaining their permission. We yearn for the least awkward encounter. Hosting a dinner is unthinkable. We dread they'd perceive it as showing off our home, further entrenching their negative perceptions and complicating everything. We must tread carefully. I've been quiet about this for too long, but the thought of it still makes me shiver with uncertainty. A peculiar predicament now looms, stirring deep anxiety within me. We desperately need to connect with my son's girlfriend and her family, people of undeniable influence and considerable wealth, before our looming vacation reservation deadline. Our initial idea, a seemingly simple one, was to invite them to one of my son's games. But the schedule, it seems, conspires against us. It simply won't align in time, leaving us scrambling. The very idea of a formal dinner, stretching into endless hours of superficial small talk, feels utterly overwhelming. It's too stilted, too forced for the genuine connection we truly seek. The thought alone sends a chill down my spine. So I grapple with a crucial question. Do we include my son and his girlfriend in this initial meeting? And what of our other children? Would their presence complicate matters or offer a welcome balance? What is the right path forward now when options seem so few? I've heard suggestions, gentle whispers of a casual encounter. Perhaps a quick coffee, a simple fast food joint, or even a relaxed park setting. A low-key gathering where my son and his girlfriend could have space, could even step away if the mood soured. This suggestion holds a glimmer of hope for a less awkward introduction. Yet, a troubling past experience casts a long, dark shadow over my resolve. I'm told that any meeting is destined for awkwardness, and the memory of someone showing up with a police escort without even attempting to knock truly stung me, raising a profound question of basic human respect. But here's the unsettling truth. I had faced their deliberately closed doors before. Long before any officer was in sight, their door remained stubbornly shut. It was a disheartening refusal, a cold, silent rejection that still haunts me now, intensifying the pressure to get it right. A misunderstanding burdens me, creating an awkward chasm I must bridge. My simple police ride-along, born of curiosity, was misconstrued by my son's girlfriend's family. They saw it as judgment, believing I wanted an escort due to their neighborhood's dangers. I now grasped their offense, the palpable tension fostered. I was utterly unaware of the area's difficult reputation. I knew it wasn't affluent, but bad area was a shocking revelation, a truth unveiled solely by the officer. His stark words, "I hope I never catch my own kids in this area," genuinely surprised me. Residents surely understand their surroundings, yet my actions never stemmed from safety fears concerning their community. My intentions were pure, devoid of any prejudice. Their reaction, I realize, likely stemmed from deep embarrassment and feeling unfairly judged. I must explain this face to face. I will clarify my true motives, assuring them I am not racist. My support for my son dating their daughter and inviting her on a family vacation testifies to this. I anticipate an incredibly awkward start, but I am resolute. This painful shadow must be lifted for our family's crucial bond. I struggle nightly with a gnawing fear, a question that relentlessly haunts me. How can I trust my son? The very idea of him managing Disneyland with his girlfriend feels like a cruel joke, given our family's history. If he can't even come home for curfew, if I must stand, waiting, outside a house I know he occupies, how can I possibly believe he'll meet us at appointed times? Unrelenting doubts consume me. How do I truly know he would even stay within the resort area? His girlfriend's presence, I truly fear, won't help. It often only complicates matters further. Some offer a painfully naive optimism, claiming they share a fair amount of trust and alone time in everyday life. They speculate she'd simply stay in the park, since the property is huge and it'd be a huge hassle to go off property. Their simple solution. Parents should just hang on to the hotel keys and they'll be good. But they fail to grasp the profound depth of my anguish. They don't truly know that I've had to call the police, my heart pounding, just to get him out of his girlfriend's house. It's not an isolated incident. It's a persistent, heartbreaking problem. He simply won't come home when he says, nor will he answer the door when I call. To take teens to Disneyland, one absolutely needs true, unwavering trust to ensure they stay within the confines of the two parks or the downtown Disney area. My trust, undeniably, is irrevocably shattered. I've observed many such unsettling situations, and my empathy goes out to families navigating these complexities. The idea of entrusting a child's safety to others always brings a surge of worry, especially when signs of disconnection appear. In this specific scenario, a young man's alarming disregard for basic communication reveals a profound lack of respect. He barely acknowledges his parents' very real concerns for his well-being, acting with a dismissive indifference. He won't even answer a door when his own mother stands outside, a desperate plea for his presence. This blatant disrespect raises a critical question. How could I possibly trust these parents to safeguard my own child if they must involve law enforcement merely to ensure their son comes home at night? What assurance is there? Are they truly prepared to handle situations like a trip to Disney if the kids simply don't answer their calls? Would the police be their immediate solution then, too? This pattern of behavior is very troubling. My strong recommendation, shaped by extensive experience, is to truly understand these parents far beyond a casual meeting. They know your son, certainly, but their only experience with your family is that single, unfortunate incident. I urge you to encourage more frequent interactions. Let your son and his girlfriend spend more time at your home. This way, they can personally witness her comfort within your family and understand the secure environment you offer. These parents urgently need absolute reassurance. The act of letting a child, even a mature teenager, venture far from home for an extended period without direct parental oversight is truly terrifying. They must be entirely confident their daughter will be cared for, protected, and respected every step of the way. Trust, in these vital matters, is not merely given. It must be meticulously earned. An accusation recently struck me, misrepresenting our family's truest intentions. It began when we invited my son's girlfriend on an upcoming trip, a simple gesture of warmth. But her parents' reply was chillingly direct. Honestly, they stated, their tone unwavering, after you called a police escort to retrieve your son from my house, I don't know if I'd be comfortable letting my daughter spend a week with you all. They believed we intended manipulation, to use her as a tool, coercing our son into joining. This insinuation, that we would exploit their child, wounded me profoundly. It felt like a profound misunderstanding of our character. My husband and I are entirely confident our son will go, with or without her. Our invitation wasn't a desperate ploy, but a genuine desire for shared joy. We thought it would be fun for her, sharing the trip and creating lasting memories. We also envisioned a wonderful, fun experience for our son and his girlfriend together. The offer was never just to make him go, but to make the entire trip more enjoyable for everyone. I understand their daughter finds more fun at their house. We have rules, like keeping bedroom doors open, and I'm around more than the adults at their place, who seem to work a lot. Yet our home is always open, a welcoming haven for our kids' friends. We even served the only birthday cake one of his friends got yesterday. I truly get the anxieties about kids traveling. But this accusation, this deep misjudgment of our motives, leaves a bitter, lingering sting. The criticism still stings, a harsh echo of judgment about my choices as a parent. We had often discussed the hypothetical. Would we allow one of our own children to join another family for a trip? Our consensus was clear. Yes, but only with utmost caution, ensuring we truly knew and trusted the other parents. When we extended an invitation, it was never our intention to cause discomfort. It was genuine. Yet, some voices, full of cynicism, quickly declared it impossible. They scoffed at the idea that parents of a 16-year-old girl would ever consent to a week-long, overnight vacation with her boyfriend's family. And then, the true thrust of their disapproval emerged, focusing on what they termed the police thing. They painted my reaction as a major overreach, an unnecessary escalation. "No one wants the police at their house," they declared, branding my decision to involve authorities over an hour's missed curfew as utterly ridiculous, especially since I knew where he was. They wished me luck, but made it abundantly clear they'd be shocked if the girl's parents agreed. But what would they have done? I found myself desperate, unable to establish contact with anyone at the house for a harrowing hour and a half. This wasn't the first time. I had knocked on that very door before, during normal waking hours, knowing people were inside, only to be met with an unsettling silence. It was 12:30 a.m. Would they, in my shoes, simply have surrendered to the night's uncertainty, letting their child just stay? The memory of that night still chills me to the bone, a maelstrom of fear and frustration. My son, my own flesh and blood, was somewhere we had strictly forbidden him to be. This was no mere missed curfew. It was a blatant defiance, a boundary shattered, a trust irrevocably broken. When 12:30 a.m. struck and he remained absent, my heart pounded a frantic, desperate rhythm. I raced to the house, driven by an urgent need to reclaim him. I knocked, not gently, but with a forceful, desperate series of thuds, each one amplifying the panic surging through me. Yet no one answered. The silence that met me was utterly deafening, infuriating beyond words. I simply could not get my son back. What choice truly was left to me? I felt utterly trapped between his willful disregard and that chilling, unyielding silence. Some might sit in judgment, scoffing, "Police so soon." Such an overreaction? They'd insist on endless phone calls, a barrage of frantic messages to every possible contact. They'd point out a supposed hypocrisy. How could I forbid my son from staying overnight, yet potentially expect her parents to allow their daughter to spend a week with us? Teenagers, they'd argue, will always push limits, and separate rooms often signify very little. Perhaps, they suggest, I should have simply grounded him the following day, trusting him to grasp his responsibilities over time. But those critics fail to comprehend the vital, terrifying differences of that harrowing evening. When we finally gained entry into that house, the true situation was far more intricate than anyone could have possibly imagined, extending far beyond a simple curfew violation. What unfolded within those walls solidified my resolve, confirming that my deepest parental instincts were, tragically, correct. My son's safety was my absolute paramount concern. In that moment of profound helplessness, I acted as any parent would, compelled by an innate, fierce drive to protect what I hold most precious. April 5, 2018, my heart aches. I deeply miss my 17-year-old son. He's been in substance abuse programs since September, starting with 3 months of wilderness therapy. This profound absence today vividly brings back past anxieties, intense parental vigilance, and lingering worry. I found her in her room, the door resolutely closed. Our house rule dictates, open bedroom doors, behavior is always meticulously monitored. This isn't comparable to our strictly supervised hotel setup. Separate rooms, male/female, my husband with boys, I with girls, for maximum oversight. That defiance occurred within our walls. I called the police, a desperate measure, having a past history of persistently unresponsive doors. It was the dead of night. A sleep-deprived mother, I desperately, frantically wanted my son. I'd bombarded their phones with calls, texts, knocked countless times. Nothing came of it. That haunting, helpless memory deeply intertwines with my current pain. Hug your kids, even if you have to chase them. This poignant truth resonates with my soul now, a constant, aching reminder of unconditional love, the relentless fight for a child's well-being, and a mother's enduring hope for peace. I've carried this heavy burden for too long, but today, the profound ache is simply unbearable. My 17-year-old son was away for months last fall, an agonizing period of uncertainty. He then returned home, a brief, fragile beacon of hope that tragically extinguished within 6 harrowing weeks. Our deepest fears materialized, an overdose, a terrifying, Xanax-fueled descent into darkness. Now, he lives a world away, confined within the rigid structure of a therapeutic boarding school. Since January, after initial weeks in a wilderness detox program, our contact has been minimal, agonizingly so, just a few precious hours during one brief parent weekend. I understand that many teens naturally fly the coop, asserting their independence. Yet those children can still call, text, and eventually return home. My son cannot. Today, his absence is a palpable weight, a suffocating grief that settles deep in my soul. So, I implore you all, coax your children from their rooms, perhaps with the simple allure of food, and tell them you love them. Let them know you enjoy having them around. While our home still bustles with 3 other wonderful teenagers, 2 15-year-olds and a 13-year-old, there remains an undeniable, gaping void where our 17-year-old should be, a wound that refuses to heal. The agonizing question constantly haunts me. Is this costly, desperate measure helping him? Is it the right choice, knowing it will undoubtedly bankrupt us? I search for answers, yet find only lingering questions and the fervent hope that someday, my son will truly and completely come home. Yes, we did agree, though initially my husband and I resisted. That's why he returned home from Wilderness Program version 1 rather than going straight to school. This detour, however, proved crucial. Now, he can't claim he could have made it alone if we'd just given him a chance, a common, defiant cry from new students at his current school. Our resolve in this decision feels stronger. We might have forever questioned our choice had he gone straight from wilderness to school. The institution he attends is remarkably intimate. Just 13 teenage boys, all grappling with substance abuse, overseen by an impressive 45 staff. We are profoundly impressed by the program's structure and dedication. Yes, we know the financial toll. We'll be utterly drained once this 10 to 12-month journey concludes. I recall someone asking me, "What was your first reaction when you discovered he was smoking weed?" That memory still stings with bitter ache. We desperately tried everything to reach him. We reminded him constantly of the devastating consequence, being pulled off his beloved varsity high school sports team if caught. We painstakingly showed him the undeniable proof of his athletic performance declining, slowly but surely. We pleaded, reasoned, trying to make him understand his future was at stake, but he just wouldn't listen. I remember the desperate attempts to rein him in. We warned him that his actions were illegal, revoking his driving privileges, stripping freedoms he once cherished. 3 months after we learned of his smoking, we started drug testing, tying his brand new license to clean results. But it meant nothing, absolutely nothing. Even then, the things he valued most, senior year soccer, the independence of driving, the joy of graduating with his friends, all fell away, mere trifles compared to the insidious draw of substances. Addiction, I've learned, is a ruthless beast, knowing no reason, no rationale, devouring all. Our journey has been a long, painful one. My now 18-year-old son vanished from our home a year and 8 months ago, just after turning 17, a mere 2 weeks into his crucial senior year. His destructive path, fueled by pervasive drug and alcohol abuse, coupled with defiant behavior and chronic truancy from school, forced him away. To literally snatch him from the abyss, to save his life, my husband and I made the agonizing decision to send him through a series of demanding rehab placements. This included a therapeutic boarding school, a place where he eventually found the strength to finish his high school education and finally to graduate. He has only been home a short time, the wounds still fresh, a battle unfinished, our painful journey. He was with us only once since September 2017, between placements, with his primary therapist's agreement at his first stay, Dec 17, Jan 18. It was a crushing failure. He overdosed in his room, then openly abused drugs in our backyard. Our family agreement forbade him leaving with friends. They brought their illicit substances here. Our despair deepened. But then, just months ago, the inevitable struck. He was expelled from his college transitional program due to persistent sobriety issues and blatant noncompliance. My hope, fragile as it was fractured further. We faced a stark choice. We gave him 2 options: enter one last, highly recommended rehab program, or he could make a life for himself, with no support except medical pharmacy coverage, his phone for contact, and a plane ticket to his chosen landing spot, once his legal debts to his current state were completed. This state is 2,000 plus miles from home, a place he never chose. This agonizing decision weighs on us daily. I've been quiet too long, but this story weighs heavily on my heart. Our son chose the path he called making a life, plunging him into 2 months of genuine homelessness and hunger. Now, he's paying a debt to society, 3 days in jail for petty larceny. Tuesday, he will be released, free to leave that state. His desire is to return right here, to our town. We previously made it absolutely clear he cannot live here. We have 3 other children, all navigating high school, and their stability is paramount. He has stolen from us in the past, and his relentless sobriety challenges, coupled with a profound disrespect for rules, have historically cemented our firm decision. We haven't seen him since Christmas, but a sliver of hope suggests he has matured somewhat since his last time living with us, though much growth surely remains. As we now anticipate his return to our medium-sized community, a palpable tension fills the air. How should we proceed? He is still a very young adult, turning 19 this summer. Is there any chance he could live here again under new conditions? What precise rules would we establish? And how, truly, would we enforce them, given our past failures? We've trodden the weary route of urine testing before, hoping to gauge his commitment to sobriety, but the outcome was always a heartbreaking disappointment. The fear is real, the hope, a fragile whisper, and it's no fun at all. My heart aches with a constant worry over his impact on his siblings and on my husband and me. Honestly, this dread persists, whether he lives under our roof or not. Yet, I still love him fiercely. I yearn to support him, truly, but only if he embraces sobriety and actively strives for his own success. The path ahead remains shrouded in fog. I simply do not know where to begin. This is truly new, terrifying ground for us. He speaks of seeing our loyal family dog again when he comes back, wondering if she will remember him. He misses us, a sentiment mirrored deeply within my own aching heart. The sadness is a suffocating shroud. My deepest desire is to welcome home the healthy son I once knew, the person he truly is, but the thought of his addicted self, tearing apart the delicate fabric of our lives, is an unbearable nightmare. Tell me, what choice remains? Please, I beg you, do not judge our past choices unless you have truly walked this torturous path. We have poured every ounce of our being, every resource, to keep him alive, to ensure his health, to see him graduate high school, to offer him college, to provide endless therapy, far more than he ever requested. Our investment, $250,000 and beyond, stands as a testament to our relentless dedication, yet chaos continues. The fear that I might outlive my child is a constant, gnawing presence. I'm sure any parent facing similar struggles would do everything within their power, just as I am. This dread, this agonizing possibility, dictates so much of my every decision. Recently, a poignant message resonated deeply with my own fractured heart. Someone, a person who once walked the very path my child now treads, shared their story. They described being that troubled kid, tangled in drugs, alcohol, and disruptive behavior. At 18, their parents, out of sheer desperation and tough love, made the excruciating decision to kick them out. They left with little more than 2 bags and $30, facing the harsh reality of sleeping on couches, on mattresses in homes without electricity. There were moments of profound regret, difficult choices made simply to survive, yet they persevered. I made it, they declared, a testament to resilience. Their wisdom struck me hard. For a child to ever truly find their footing, they must try. They must fall flat on their face, time and again, and possess the courage to rise. They must learn the bitter taste of consequences. Now, nearing 21, this individual has returned home, a tragic car accident claiming their little sister's life the catalyst. Living back with their parents, they finally understood the pain, the sheer burden they had inflicted. This profound realization, they said, was the turning point, setting them on a path toward a better life. Their words brought me a flicker of hope, a fragile sense of possibility for my own son. I am so grateful for this insight. I've often reflected on our difficult choices, particularly allowing our son to be homeless for 2 agonizing months. It was a deliberate, painful strategy to force him to rise above his situation. He slept under bridges, hid in sheds, enduring the brutal streets. His meager possessions, backpack, sleeping bag, were stolen. We knew, yet offered no aid. He was hungry, suffering, and still we did not help. It was a test of our resolve. Just yesterday, a truly desperate decision emerged. He concluded that jail, with its promise of a bed, 3 basic meals, and human interaction, was preferable to his current harrowing existence. He chose, of his own volition, to check in for his 3-day sentence. My deepest hope is that this brief imprisonment serves as a stark eye-opener, a powerful catalyst for lasting change in his life. Life, in its brutal honesty, is rarely fair. I thought of this recently, pondering the tragedies others often endure. I felt compelled to share our own family's experiences, especially concerning understanding. Our oldest biological son received his high-functioning autism diagnosis at 18. The revelation was immense. Retrospectively, countless perplexing moments from his past suddenly illuminated, making profound sense. This diagnosis irrevocably altered our entire family's perspective, shaping how we interpret everything he does, says, and often doesn't say. I've come to grasp his world. It truly explains everything. He isn't an ass or difficult. He is simply being all he knows. This profound realization shattered my assumptions, revealing a deeper, empathetic truth. I recall him at 12, eating that candy bar, his brother's birthday gift for me. He meant no harm. Imagine. A glorious candy bar in the fridge received at 7 a.m. Just sitting there. Awesome. How could he resist such an alluring delight? It was simple impulse, not malice. As you embark, immerse in autism. Read, learn all. Be his voice, his fiercest advocate. I fought this battle, believe me. The high school football coach, also chemistry teacher, unjustly labeled him an asshole from day one. I learned, be prepared. Encourage his best tirelessly. And know this, a diagnosis can come at any age, bringing clarity for you too. You are incredible for taking this on. Those with autism possess a truly cool, distinct way of experiencing the world, a perspective often missed. Embrace it. Your journey is a testament to profound compassion. You are remarkable. I've kept quiet for a long time, but this story still makes me shiver, a stark warning for any parent. We genuinely believed we were doing what was best, sending our beloved oldest son to what was marketed as a therapeutic boarding school. It was meant to be a sanctuary, a place of healing, but it became a crucible of profound danger. Placing vulnerable children, each navigating their own version of crisis, into such close proximity is a recipe for disaster. I can still vividly recall the appalling discovery. The boys, our son among them, ingeniously, terrifyingly, crafted a homemade tattoo gun. They used an electric razor, guitar wire, and pen ink, turning an ordinary night into a clandestine ceremony of self-mutilation. Almost every boy there bore fresh, crude tattoos by morning, some etched shockingly onto their hands. This environment was anything but optimal. The school proudly advertised its intensive therapy sessions, but how can true healing begin when it's forced? Coercion breeds resentment, not resolution. This became agonizingly clear. Yet, a deeper betrayal awaited us during their so-called field trips. I never imagined the true extent of the peril our son faced. Then came the call that tore our world apart. On one such excursion, egged on by his troubled peers, our son located a first aid kit. He then, in a terrifying act, overdosed on its drug contents. We spent 3 agonizing days in the ICU, clinging to hope, watching him fight for his life. Please, I implore you, investigate every alternative. Do not put your child in a setting where they are surrounded solely by other troubled youth. These 2 harrowing incidents were merely glimpses into the horrors at a school that cost us a staggering $17,000 each month. The emotional toll was immeasurable. We learned a devastating lesson. I reflect on a challenging journey. My son lost his whole senior year of high school and more precious time due to being compelled to live against his deepest wishes in residential drug rehab programs. But now, with overwhelming relief, he is finally back home with us, and I confirm he is healthy. His arm, a canvas of his past struggles, is covered in many tattoos, some crudely homemade, others bought cheaply and quite badly done. They tell a silent story. Yet, let me tell you what truly matters. I absolutely treasure every single day that I get to tell him good morning, and those tattoos don't bother me one bit. They are here, in my house, vibrant and alive, on an arm that still sometimes hugs me close. So, I urge you to step back, gain true perspective, and appreciate the fragile, precious gifts you already possess. This profound truth is my daily guide.